Hi there.
Hey, Nancy.
Sorry, I'm eating my breakfast.
Oh, feel free. We're
Mhm.
early. We
Thank you.
have 5 minutes recording now. We have a lot of people meditating, and I'm so pleased about that. Meditation has been a huge part of my life, all of my life. Um, and what draws me to Taoist meditation is how effective it is, physically, mentally, and also spiritually. And I also love it because before I even discovered Taoist meditation, I studied a little bit of Asian art, ancient Asian art. And I love uh, Taoist paintings because in them, it will be a huge kind of naturescape, and the human being in the painting is just teeny tiny. It's not a close up on a face. It's a huge, drawing of the world, and often a path goes through it, and the human being is just part of the natural world. It's not, this art isn't totally focused on the human being or the human ego. And I found the same to be true with Taoist meditation. It's the only meditation form I found where it's not just about looking at yourself, working on yourself. It's about also harmonizing with nature, meditating with nature, and recognizing yourself as part of nature and one with nature. And this is really extraordinary and unique to Taoist meditation. And we're so fortunate to have Dr. Mao guiding us. Dr. Mao, you probably know, is a 38 generation traditional Chinese medical doctor, and very famous and successful because he's quite effective. But the Ni lineage goes back 73 generations as Taoist cultivators and meditators. So this is an extraordinary living lineage that we get to be a part of. And if you think of 73 generations and all that those people have gone through, what's beautiful about this lineage is that we get to be the benefactors of all of that wisdom, all of that human wisdom. And so to me, these practices are like messages of love, of care. Here's something that helped us to um, not only survive, but thrive in the 8th century. And it survived through the Ni lineage for us, um, to bring into our world, our human existence. So we're very fortunate to have this wisdom and this living lineage through Dr. Mao. And when we developed this course, we considered making it like most meditation courses, which are all pre-recorded and kind of impersonal, but it actually takes away what is so special about this lineage, which is that it is alive and it is an oral tradition. So you'll find that for the first couple of weeks with this meditation, I'm not going to send you a written version. And that's by design, because Dr. Mao and I want you to experience these meditations in a very personal way without overthinking it or over intellectualizing it. So you can compare it to the difference between jumping in a river and swimming and having that experience of water all around you. And, there's really no way to describe it for each individual. You can read about it, you can analyze it, you can analyze the water, you can talk about the molecular composition of the fish, but there's no substitute for diving in. So what we hope for you is that you will dive into this meditation experience and really allow yourself to have the experience before it becomes an intellectual process. So we will talk about it, and we will, before the Q&A, I'll send you a written version. For those of you who have seen this, this is a book that we give to people who do the teacher training at the end. And it's just a collection of the written versions of the meditations. So I'll email you a PDF of the meditation before the Q&A. But until that time, we would encourage you just to practice and have that experience for yourself. And instead of reading about it, consider writing about it in your journal. So you can create the book for yourself of this experience. And it's different for everyone. I wish that I could say that all of these benefits of meditation flow from me, but the reality is that all of the benefit of meditation practice will be flowing from you, from your practice. So this is absolutely an inside job. And Dr. Mao is guiding us, but to reap the benefits of meditation, it's essential that you dive into the river and swim and have that experience for yourself. So I think that we are all here. I would encourage you to mute yourself, practice muting yourself during the meditation, because we're recording it, and you'll find that the recorded version is much cleaner, much clearer, if we're all muted except for Dr. Mao. Max is here with us. Hi, Max. And we're so fortunate to have Max as our technical director, and he'll be processing the video. We have many people in our groups who speak many different languages, and Max has the ability to enable subtitles on the YouTube link that we send out. So if English is not your mother tongue, it might be helpful to have it translated in the video. And then a lot of our level 3 students are also speaking many different languages and have been working on translating the meditation. So I can send you a written version in your mother tongue if it's appropriate. So I think that that is all of the housekeeping. Every week we'll be focusing on a different element of altar practice. And I love design and I love feng shui. If you're not aware of what feng shui is, it's just a way of moving energy in a space. And so the first thing that we'll focus on in altar practice is really just creating space for meditation in your life. So just like you create space to brush your teeth in the morning, you take that 60 seconds or maybe even 2 minutes to take care of your teeth. I'd like you to get into the habit of making space in your life for this practice, because meditation really flows into every aspect of your life, your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health. So this month, really focus on creating that space in your schedule, perhaps in your home. And the value of creating a specific space in your home for meditation is not only energetic, so it kind of holds that energetic charge that this space is for peace and to support peace. But there's also a Pavlovian element, which is that your body and mind respond to certain sensory triggers. You become aware of what a certain scent means in your life and in your experience. So choosing your incense, choosing your space, choosing nourishing textures for a pillow or for an inspiring image. These are all just ways of giving yourself support in practicing and making this practice a wonderful part of your day that you look forward to. So if you need support in creating that space, I hope that you'll reach out. And Dr. Mao and I would love to see a photograph of your space if you want to share that. This is really inspiring, and you can let us know if we can share it with the group in a Q&A, because some of your inventiveness might help someone else, and how you support yourself with your space. So that's everything for me in terms of housekeeping. And I'll turn the meeting over to Dr. Mao. Dr. Mao, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Olivia, and thanks to everyone who signed up for this class. It's a commitment. I appreciate that you're putting the effort into your spiritual growth. It is your own spiritual growth that matters. And as Olivia rightfully pointed out, the benefits can only be delivered from you and by you and experienced, directly. So, couple things. So we are the teaching is once a month, but then every other week we have a Q&A session. So you have burning questions that must be answered, you can always email them to Olivia. Otherwise, we gather every other week, in between the teachings, so that we can collectively answer questions that other people may share with you the same questions. In terms of the diving in, right? So Olivia talked about, being just, if you want to learn how to swim, you gotta dive in. Rest assured that we're putting you into a pool, and it's very shallow first, and the water's warm, and so it's not a crash course in swimming. We're going to layer step by step. There's the 8 pillars. Each month we'll be teaching a practice from each of these pillars. And so you will then learn as each level kind of builds on the other. It really does help you. And yes, the pool gets a little deeper and deeper, and because we know that you now have the skill set as well as the confidence to swim and to experience the richness of this tradition. So the first pillar number 1, is symbiosis with nature, and it really is the essence of what Taoist tradition's about. Our tradition is called the Integral Way, and it has its roots almost 2,000 years ago. And what the Integral Way has done is, over the years, gather and distill practices from different lineages and so forth, right? And then to make sure that they work. That's number 1. And so therefore, the distillation process has yielded this treasure trove of knowledge, wisdom, and practices that are very applicable to modern day life today. And that's really what we're about, is that we want to be able to convey to you these authentic teachings that are tried and true, and that have been experienced in a very, very positive way by others before you. And so that there's no need to reinvent the wheel. I'm always inspired when I read the words that human progress is the act of, standing on shoulders of giants. And so our goal is to have you become the giant so that future generations can stand on your shoulders, and so that we can continue to evolve humanity. After all, we are spiritual beings on a human path, and that we need to discover or rediscover, if you will, the divine within each one of us. And this isn't about religion. This is about spirituality. It's about your own spirituality. We do not promote a religion. You can be Christian, you can be Muslim, you can be any faith. And this teaching does not interfere, nor does it detract from your religious beliefs or practices, but rather it allows you to help discover the natural spirituality within us. And the most important first step we can do is to take that, take us back into nature, where we come from. We are the offspring of Heaven Father, Earthly Mother. We are the essence, we embody the essence of everything that the universe has. The same, energies that course through the universe, that helps the planets move in its predictable patterns, are also exerting the same influence on us and manifest in us. The same basic materials that matters, the carbon, the nitrogen, the oxygen, the hydrogen, the various atoms, the same basic atoms that exist in the universe exist in us as well. But similarly, they exist in everything else too. So whether it's human, whether it's a tree, whether it's a rock, whether it's earth, or an animal, we all are offspring of the same source. That's very important. And second thing is that we look to the sky and we say the representative of these two types of energy, the yin and the yang energy, are represented here. If we just look to the sky, we see the sun. Sun embodies and represents the yang energy, or the fire. And the moon represents the water energy, the cooling, nurturing stillness, or the yin energy, or water. And so these two energies are really important for us to discover within ourselves. We have that same solar lunar energy within us. And so the practice of symbiosis with nature will allow you to discover the same powers and the energies within you that's outside of you. We also look to the North Star. The North Star, when you look at the night sky, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you look to the northern horizon, you will see the constellation of the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper has 7 stars, and the star of the Seven Dipper is the North Star, otherwise known as Polaris. The Polaris is a star that people since ancient times have looked to when they're traveling at night. So in the dark, it's difficult to see where you're going or the direction. You could get lost easily, but all you have to do is look up and find the North Star, and it will help you return home safely. A North Star, so irregardless of religion, faith, whatever it might be, it's been universal that the North Star has been the guide for humans in the dark, who lost their way, find their way home through the North Star. The compass is an invention of the Chinese, and it was invented again because of the significance of the North Star, and to be able to understand this north-south axis and the magnetic pole. And therefore, as soon as compass was invented, it confirmed that there is this north, the North Pole, magnetic pole. And so both the compass and the North Star exists here in this place. North Star has a particular significance in our integral way tradition, in that we regard it as the spiritual origin of a human being. And therefore, we draw the light from the North Star to eliminate our darkness so that we can see the light. And why is that important? Because, let's face it, life is filled with uncertainty and confusion. And there come a time, many times, when you find yourself at crossroads. Which way do I go? Which way do I turn? And so when we are clear in our mind, in our consciousness, then we make the right decision and we take the right path. And that's really the summary of it all. The essence of the North Star is to bring about light in which can shine on our dark, confused mind so that we can gain clarity for our lives and make the right choices and decisions. And that matters, of course. We've always, we can look back in our lives and we can um, regret or rejoice over the decisions we made. And if you think back to the decisions that you regret, your mind was clouded, and because you didn't have clarity, and you didn't see the light, and you didn't anticipate. So, North Star. So the North Star, when we are doing practice today, the symbiosis, the first and foremost important thing you're going to be doing in doing every meditation practice in our tradition is to turn to the North Star, open your Tianmu or heavenly eye right in this area. It's also known as the third eye. It's the invisible eye, but it's the eye that perceives. It perceives another dimension that's beyond just what's physically perceptible. We open that eye. We receive the light by building this bridge of light between that and the North Star. And we maintain that connection the entire time that we do our practice. And over time with this practice, naturally, you will find that your mind gets calmer and you'll be able to see situations a lot more clear than before. And so that contributes to making, again, better decisions and clarity, you know. And if we think that a compass in our life allows us to align the direction of our life, then so too is the North Star, is really a symbolism for us getting clear about our purpose and why we have come to this lifetime. Why did you come? You know, what is your purpose for this life? And so that once you have the clarity, then you can align your life to make sure you fulfill it in this life. It's a journey. It's no different than traveling at night by the light of the North Star. So that's it. And so sun, moon, representing the polarity of the two energies in our lives and the universe, and the North Star. By developing this connection, this symbiosis, we will begin to appreciate the sameness, this oneness of the universe, and draw clarity and power from it. All right, let us begin. I think it's the best thing to do is always do the practice, and questions might come up later, which is fine. We'll always, leave a little time at the end, and if we don't have time, then you can always email. But rest assured that in 2 weeks from now, we'll have a Q&A, and that's when we have you bring your questions from your practice, and we share it with everybody. Okay? All right. So first step, very important. 3 things you must focus on is posture, focus, and breath. So the posture, you want to be able to sit up straight at the edge of your chair. And because if you lean back against something, your spine's going to curve. So by sitting up straight, you make sure that the spine's straight and the energy is moving correctly. And that way also takes out the arch in the lower part of your back, and then your neck. You know, a lot of times people stick your chin out and then you create this curvature in your cervical spine in your neck. So you want to pull this in, and then you want to go ahead and pull up from the top of your head. And so pretend that there's a string on the top of your head pulling you up. And what that will do is that it will elongate your spine. And as Olivia likes to use the analogy of a river. So now there is a river that can run freely. So the spine is straight and loose and relaxed, and energy is restored. So that's the first step. Another thing about posture is your tongue. The tongue must be curled. So the bottom of the tongue is touching the rooftop of the palate of your mouth. The reason for that is, let's say if this is the rooftop of your mouth and this is your tongue. So you need to be able to touch up in this area. The reason is because there's two main energy channels, and the one's called conception channel or Ren channel. It runs up the center line of your front of your body, but it ends at the bottom of your tongue. And then there is what we call the governing channel or the Du channel that runs from the coccyx all the way up the spine, the back of your head, to the top, down, and then it ends at the upper palate of your mouth. So there's a gap, right? So there's a gap. Here's the upper palate. Here's the bottom of the tongue. And, there's a gap. So there is a disconnection. And the interesting part is, of course, when we speak, there is a disconnection. So in the integral way, we always say the Tao that is spoken is not the true Tao. Because every time we speak, we may be trying to tell the truth, but it's always a partial truth. Because words does not encompass the whole truth. The whole truth must be experienced, and only by closing our mouth and curling our tongue and being still and silent will we be able to experience the whole truth. And that, so we're bridging by having the tongue curled, and then so it's touching that upper part. So now we bridge this whole circulation, and it's continuous, and we get to experience the wholeness. Okay? Then the next thing is your hand posture. So hand posture is this. For men, your middle finger is touching the fourth knuckle. You see that? Of your right hand. So the left hand is on the outside, okay? And then your thumb. So what you're doing, you're grasping your thumb with your right fist. And then, so this is what it looks like, right? So eventually. And this is placed in your lower abdomen. Okay, so the merging of these two hands allows the, again, circulation flow. For women, it's just the opposite. Your right hand is on the outside and it's touching the middle finger. It's touching the fourth knuckle of your hand. And then left hand is grasping the thumb in the loose fist. So there is what it looks like, okay? So place that in your lower abdomen. There are three energy centers, upper, middle, and lower energy center. And they're located right here. The upper center is where the heavenly eye, third eye is, right in the forehead. The middle one is in the middle of your chest, or otherwise known as the heart center. And then the lower one is below your belly button, about 3 inches below your belly button in your pelvic area. That's the lower dantian. Each of these energy centers roughly corresponds to, again, the pineal pituitary glands right up in this area, hypothalamus. And then the chest area is the pineal, thyroid, all that in this area. And then the lower one is all the sex glands, the ovaries, your testes, as well as the adrenal, and all right in this area. Okay, so 3 energy centers, but they're, I use that to help you remember, but we should not limit it to just what I mentioned, right? I'm just using some of these to help you remember, but it's not it's not exclusive, right? Because it encompasses more than that. All right, and that's pretty much it before we need to begin. Okay, so join me. Go ahead and sit up straight. And the mind should be what we called a relaxed intent. So you are focused, but you are not so focused in an OCD way that it creates tension or stress. Right? That defeats the purpose. So it's relaxed. And what may help you is some people find it more soothing to close their eyes, but they may fall asleep. So sometimes just lower your gaze so that there's a crack of light coming in. So there's light. And you can't really quite see anything, but there's light that keeps you awake. So that's also another way to do it. All right, and then finally the breathing. So we're going to practice that as we do the meditation. So let's get started. All right, so go ahead and align your body, pull up on the top of your head, straighten up your spine, and relax your body. Elongate. Spine becomes a river. And go ahead and take a deep breath. Inhale through your nose. Inhale life force, chi, into your chest and abdominal cavities. This chi that animates life. And exhale through your nose. And go ahead and exhale. And allow any kind of stale, old energy that remained from last night to dissipate. Exhale a little bit more. And exhale a little bit more. Be sure to empty completely, otherwise you cannot refill. Inhale, breathe in life-giving oxygen, which permeates every alveoli, air sacs of your lungs, and therefore delivered to every cell of your body. And exhale. And allow carbon dioxide and other toxic gases to be released from your body. Continue to exhale and exhale and exhale some more until you are completely empty. And now inhale once again. And inhale positive intentions into your being and into your life. And exhale and let go of any negative emotions and thoughts. And let go of anything that you don't want in your life or in your being. And now you can go ahead and just breathe naturally. Let's focus first on the lower abdomen, the lower dantian. As the energy is present, you become aware of it. You feel the bubbling of that energy. And now, take another breath and you feel, bring your attention to the middle part of your body, at the middle dantian in your chest area. Focus on that for a moment as you feel the bubbling of energy in this place. It's an opening of your energy center so you can receive. And now bring your attention and focus to the upper dantian, right in the forehead area. And it is here that you open your heavenly eye, your Tianmu, so that you are now ready to receive. Connect this Tianmu with North Star. The light of the North Star is always there, whether it's day or night. During the day, you don't see it, but it's still there. But at night, when it's dark, then it becomes apparent. However, it's always there. It's omnipresent. So draw that light to your heavenly eye. And this upper dantian we also call Crystal Palace. It is here that we receive the light of the North Star. And continue to infuse this area with the light of the North Star as it gradually eliminates the darkness in the upper sphere of your being. And that light, similar to using a dimmer switch of a room, you gradually increase the dimmer switch so that it goes from dim to brighter, and finally there is bright light. That the entire room, the Crystal Palace, is filled with the bright light of the North Star. And now I want you to bring that light to the middle dantian, in the middle sphere of your body. And I want you to gradually turn up the dimmer switch so that you can increase the lightness of your being in this middle dantian until the bright light of the North Star is experienced in the entire middle dantian. And then you move this light to the lower dantian in the abdomen. And here we cultivate and infuse the light into this storehouse, and gradually the light is expanded and expanded until it completely fills, until it completely permeates the entire lower dantian. And now your body and your three energy centers are filled with the light of the North Star. And that you are now a light body. And we return to the upper dantian in your forehead, in your heavenly eye crystal palace. It is here that the center is wide open, like a doorway in the windows. You gaze out facing the sun, the morning sun, as it rises from the east. And you welcome the sunlight into your house through the window and the door. And similarly, you draw in the solar energy, the heat, the yang, the fire energy from the sun, welcoming it into your crystal palace. Feel the heat drawing in. Inhale through your mouth this time, and then swallow the sun. Swallow the saliva. And exhale as you experience the warm, hot sunlight within the upper dantian in your upper sphere of your body. Inhale through your mouth the sun's powerful warming rays into your middle dantian, your heart center. And now swallow and permeate the entire middle sphere, the middle center of your body with the warming energy of the sun, which represents fire and heat and yang. Inhale through your mouth. Bring sun to your lower dantian in the pelvic area. And swallow your saliva. And track it all the way down to your lower abdomen as you fill and permeate every space within this lower dantian with the warming, powerful, active sun light. And now feel the yang fire energy permeating every inch of your being as you become the sun. The symbiosis means you become one with the sun. It's sustaining you. The sun's rays helps you with the programs of your body function, when to release certain neurochemicals, when to shut down, when to be active, when to be still. It helps your body produce various nutrients, including vitamin D, which is a co-hormone that has so many implications for your immune, hormonal, and neurological health. It also sterilizes your body and prevents infections that could paralyze and diminish your life. It is the giver of life. And now, bring our attention to the upper dantian again. And it is here in the Crystal Palace that we open our doors and windows at night to welcome on a full moon night the light of the moon as it streams into your house. Similarly, we open our Crystal Palace and welcome the soft, cooling, still, and heavy light of the moon. The lunar energy which reflects the light of the sun, but it represents the water, the yin energy. We allow this light to penetrate our being. Inhale through your mouth. Bring in the lunar light. Swallow. And exhale through your nose as the light of the moon fill the entire crystal palace, the upper dantian, with this heavy, still, cooling water in energy. Inhale through your mouth as you inhale lunar energy into the middle dantian in the chest heart center. Swallow and exhale through your nose as you permeate and seep this water energy of stillness, of coolness into every part of your middle dantian. Inhale through your mouth and swallow as you bring energy, lunar energy, into your lower dantian. And exhale through your nose as you fill up the lower dantian with still, heavy water in energy. This in energy is important because only by being still will we restore our body's functions, will we allow the spirit to have rested in order to begin each day anew with energy and vitality. The stillness of the yin balances the active yang energy of the sun. Both are important and both are necessary, but only if they are balanced. The balancing interaction of yin and yang, fire and water, and sun and moon brings about harmony and health and peace and productivity. Now that you have experienced a gathering and a connection with the North Star, with the sun and the moon, it is time now to return our chi to our store bank. And in the process, we bring all this energy we gather into our storehouse, and then we close the doors and windows. Inhale, gather and bring to the upper dantian. And as you exhale, make sure you bring the sun, the moon, and the stars into the center. Inhale, we move to the middle dantian. And remember, we are now gathering all this energy. As we exhale, we close up the center so that the energy will not leak out and not become a source of imbalance. Inhale, now we bring our energy and focus to the lower dantian in the pelvic area. And this is the place where we have gathered all the energy, including from the upper and middle dantian. Everything returns as you exhale to this storehouse. This is the master storehouse. And we must be sure that we have returned everything here. If energy remains in upper or middle dantian, you may occasionally experience excess thinking or emotions, feelings. Only by returning the energy to the lower dantian will we be able to calm and clear your mind and your spirit and bring the energy to the master storehouse. And now we rub our hands to return to our current state of consciousness. We rub our hands to create heat so that we may cup over our eyes and feel the vibration, the buzzing, and the heat penetrate into our eyes and allow our consciousness to return to our eyes and to this dimension. We do it the second time to reinforce. Cup your palms over your eyes and feel the awakening process. And one more time, third time, to conclude this awakening of the eyes. And if you like, you can massage the rim, the upper and the lower rims of your orbit, eye orbit, with your fingers. And then you can massage your eyeballs gently by moving them circle 36 times. And then you can do the same with your temple and with the back of your knuckle against the temple. Just gently and slowly move in circles and count 36 circles. And now you may open your eyes and rejoin us in this current dimension. And sometimes, it's helpful if you find that you might be a little blurry or something to just circulate your eyeballs, along the perimeters, 3 circles in each direction, and that will help you stabilize your focus. So this is the practice of symbiosis with sun and the moon and the stars. And today you learn that it's important to first connect with the North Star. And we'll be doing this each and every practice preceding it as it eliminates our confusion, our uncertainty, and our darkness, and to help guide us to rediscover and support the emergence of our inner spirit. Okay, and we have 5 minutes remaining. Olivia, I'm going to turn it back to you now.
Thank you, Dr. Mao. Oh, so thank you everyone for zooming in and for bravely navigating the World Wide Web, which isn't always easy. I'm so glad that you are here, and we might be able to keep Dr. Mao for a couple more minutes if you have questions. So think about that, and you can raise your hands or you can just unmute yourself and speak. Before our next meeting, so our Q&A, I would love to hear about your meditation space or see a photo of your meditation space, and I'd really like you to create that space in your life and in your living area for meditation. And also before the next Q&A, you will all receive a level 2 or level 3 meditator who's completed the teacher training. And this will be a guide for you. So someone that you can email for support, or if you have questions, you can contact this person, or you can completely ignore them. It's totally up to you how you embrace that relationship. But it benefits both you and also the guide. So this is someone who's been meditating with us for at least a year and completed the teacher training, and they plan to teach. So this is an opportunity for you to challenge them and ask the tough questions, see how they do. I am here for you through email, and Courtney, who's present in this meeting, she's waving. I don't know if you can see her. Courtney, can I pin your video so everyone can say hi? This is Courtney. So Courtney is managing questions, and I sent you her email address. It's level, I believe it's L1ITMIclarification@gmail.com. So she's going to organize the questions for the Q&A. So please send her your questions, and don't be shy about that. It's a very important part of this tradition to seek clarification from your teachers. And actually, some of my favorite moments are when I'll ask Dr. Mao, I believe I understand, and this is what I understand, and he'll say, no, that's not correct. And I love it because it's really important when you're on this inward journey to have answers and to have that reassurance that, yes, this is correct, or, oh, that sensation, that tingling sensation, that's chi, and here's what you do, and don't worry. And so this is a really important aspect of how we've set up this program. We want your questions, we want your clarifications. So please open yourself to that and communicate with us. So having said that, do you have any questions?
Actually, Olivia.
Hi.
Hi.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. What happened to me is that just when I was swallowing the moon in the lower Dantian, my Zoom connection just went off completely, and I was disconnected. So I had to just go back and reconnect. And then when Dr. Mao was just pretty much finishing. So when something like that happens, which is hopefully, just, getting back to everything to the lower Dantian, what do you really do? I mean, just like, just keep breathing and keep, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I did miss a little bit of the end of the meditation. And so, those things happen. Of course, with Zoom, I just wanted to know what would you recommend?
Well, I feel that you handled it beautifully, Raphael, and I'm always keeping an eye on, I'm kind of the co-pilot, so I'm keeping an eye on controls. And so I'll admit you back into the meeting, and you joined, and you just picked up where you left off. And that's really all that you can do when tech happens. And, Max is incredibly generous. I don't know how you do it, Max. I mean, he's actually a tech supervisor on many projects. He's very much in demand, and he still makes time for us individually. So if you feel like there's something in your setup that isn't working, he will troubleshoot with you. And you can even have a Zoom meeting with Max, and he's that kind of tech expert who can really make sure everything is configured in an ideal way. Another tip with these kinds of issues that Max has expressed is, before these meetings, maybe restart your router. That can sometimes make your connection stronger. I don't understand why. Or if you've had any issues today, make sure you update your Zoom app. And then another tip that Max has expressed that I remember is to shut down your device and restart it. Also, if you're like me and you're very creative and you have a lot of projects on your laptop or on your phone, close all the other apps, close the other windows so that all of that energy is focused. So this is also a Taoist principle. You know, a peach tree is actually a shrub. It's actually a bush. And if you just let it be as it is naturally, you'll get little tiny peaches. But what we do is we prune this shrub into the shape of a tree so that there are fewer fruits produced, and then those fruits are bigger. And this is a kind of deep energetic principle that when you really focus your energy, things might be more fruitful. And this also applies, I'm speaking for myself now, to my own laptop. So close all of those Safari windows and the spreadsheet city on this laptop, close them down so that you just have the one app functioning. Would you agree with that philosophy, Max?
Yes, excellent tips, Olivia. Yeah.
I learned it all from you. And Dr. Mao, it's a perfect combination for success in the tech world.
I like your peach example, because it is in fact very Taoist. As you know, fruits have symbolism, and peach, we call it an immortal peach for a reason. So I just want to get back to Raphael's question, though. I think her question is, well, what do I do? I'm like, you know, like in the middle of my guided meditation, what do I do? So first of all, you know, I think that it was very apropos. You got to the lunar energy and kind of gather, and you immersed yourself in that lunar energy, and it's stillness. So obviously the internet cut out. So, which is fine. I think you can simply at that moment just, you know, you can go back into just gathering the energy back into all your dantians, and then just come out of it and be done with. Or if, you know, so that's what I suggest. If in fact, if you get disconnected and you can't get back on during a practice, you know, a live session, then you just, as we did today, and you may have finished, I mean, you may have missed the finishing, the ending, conclusion, which is taking energy and putting it, you know, gathering to the upper, middle, and then lower dantian, and then wrap that up. Now, Raphael is a, you know, Tai Chi practitioner and teacher, so she knows that at the end of the Tai Chi practice, we do this exact same thing. So that's all you have to do. Instead of feel like you're stranded on the side of the road, you can return home without any problem. So don't worry about that, okay?
Thank you.
And then you will be followed up with a like what Olivia said, a recording, you know, both in video and in audio. So you can still access it, but you know, immediately afterwards. So, okay.
Thank you.
All right.
So we've already gone over, but if you have a pressing question, please go ahead and speak up. Dr. Mao, if you're willing to stay a few more minutes. And if there are no questions, if you're feeling just incredibly peaceful and open, and your energy is flowing, and you feel the sunlight, and you feel the moon energy, and you feel the connection with the North Star, and you're ready to navigate your day, maybe to navigate towards some brunch, or if you're in another part of the world, some dinner, then we can close the meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Dr. Mao.
you. Please go ahead and unmute yourself if you'd like to say goodbye. And Dr. Mao, do you have any closing words for us?
I just, again, want to congratulate you for taking that first step to class today. And Olivia and I hope that you will personally experience the benefits like we've had over these years. And again, just, you know, commit some time to practicing every day. Ideally, you know, an hour, but even if you have 15 minutes, it's okay. Just find a quiet place and do it. And as you deepen your practice, you will also deepen your understanding of, you know, the world and the life conditions. Oftentimes, the mind, you know, is not so clear because there's so much going on, but your spirit will know the truth. and will guide you. So that's all. Have a wonderful week, and until next time, be safe and be healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Great
Thank you very much.
Thank you.